Do I have to open this video with the riff from Life Will Change?
It's not a game, I'm not a robot, and I'm challenging you.
I think I might have to open this video with the riff from Life Will Change. Hey everyone, welcome back to Why Aren't You?, the series where I look at some of my favorite pieces of media and figure out why nobody wants to talk about it with me at the lunch table. Today's a doozy because I've already convinced someone to play this game before. My old roommate Jack, no relation, asked me about Persona 5, a game that I would constantly rave about, and he wanted to know more about it. I went into detail about the game, and he picked it up on sale. And he said it was one of his new favorite games to play because of the story, gameplay elements, and of course, that sweet, sexy jazz fusion soundtrack, baby! Persona 5 is an entry in the Japanese Shin Megami Tensei series of video games. These video games were produced by Atlus Entertainment, a subsidiary of Sega. Much like Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest, the Persona games are all unrelated in story, characters, and plot, but share world-building items, gameplay elements, and a few nods here and there in costumes or something. The first Megami Tensei game was released on the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1987, and after 30 plus years of releasing different games, each entry in the series was perfected just a little bit more. The Persona series, however, is a more common spin-off series to find in the US. The games have been exclusively selling on PlayStation consoles until recently, with Revelations Persona being the first game to release in 1996. The series slowly started to rise in popularity, culminating in Persona 5's release for PS3 and PS4 in 2016 in Japan and 2017 in the United States. Every Persona game follows a different group of teenagers, but most follow a similar path. A chosen one character is granted the power to walk around after midnight in a different dimension. Some believe it to be some form of the afterlife, others believe it to be a manifestation of all the evil in the world. The nameless and silent protagonist of this game then makes new friends in the real world at school to help him fight demons in this world at night. Every character has their own inner or personal demons that they need to fight, and the protagonist has to help them get over their fears or whatever problems they're currently facing. In Persona 5's case, you play as a teenager that is sent away to a different school in Tokyo after being falsely arrested. He finds out that he is the chosen one and finds his way to a palace, or a manifestation of a person's evil wants and desires. He is captured by evil spirits and tortured until he unlocks the power to summon a persona, which is the manifestation of a person's good and righteous intentions. In this game, it takes the form of that character removing their mask to show their true form. The protagonist makes new friends along the way and eventually stops a whole slew of villains, from a physically abusive gym teacher, to an extorting mafioso, to a money-hungry CEO. The goal of the team is to go into these palaces, defeat these people's evil manifestation, and change their heart to change their ways and take responsibility for their actions. The gameplay of Persona is probably the most fascinating part about the game to me, but it also tends to be the thing that drives most people away from trying out the franchise at all. Gameplay is split up into two different modes. During the day, you will live a normal life, going to school, hanging out with friends, doing chores, working part-time jobs, and other things like that. The second part, nightlife, is all about dungeon crawling and turn-based JRPG elements. Starting off with the dungeon crawling, you have your basic elements of a role-playing game. You choose a party of up to 4 members of your team and go through the different palaces, looting treasure, defeating enemies, and gaining progress in the story. Every character has a different persona, who will have different abilities, elemental weaknesses, and strengths. They also have a physical attack, such as with a sword or a knife or a bully club, and a ranged attack with a pistol or a machine gun. Think of the battle system as Pokemon on crack. Defeat enough enemies and you will level up and learn a new move, yada yada yada. The difference is that the protagonist can have more than one persona in his arsenal of moves, which is super helpful to make sure that you can cover the weaknesses of your allies. The enemies in the game can also replicate some of the personas available, each having their own strengths and weaknesses, so make sure you keep up to date with what is strong against what. It's simple enough, like fire beating ice and wind beating fire and stuff like that. You'll get used to it the more you play. More often than not, there's also a summary screen that will remind you of an enemy's strengths and weaknesses, so you don't have to keep too much up to date with specific enemies. One thing that is definitely intimidating at first is the day life gameplay. Like I said earlier, you can do so many things during the times that you're not dungeon crawling, such as going to school and taking tests, going to the movies, going to restaurants, getting part-time jobs, and countless other things. However, one of the drawbacks is that these can cost time. The whole game revolves around a time mechanic, and every day you're only allowed to do a certain number of tasks. If you don't complete the palace by a certain date, you lose the game and have to go back to a different save point. However, some of these tasks that you can do outside of the palaces can be really helpful, like buying new weapons for you and your allies, or reading a certain book to learn a new ability for these palaces. Sometimes this portion can be a bit frustrating, but it can also be kind of thrilling to set up certain events for certain days and have a day calendar all set up for yourself. Another pretty interesting aspect of these games is the confidant string. Every ally you get for battles, as well as some of the random people you run into in daily life, will become a confidant. These confidants are special characters that, depending on how much time you spend with them, can improve certain aspects of the game and your character. For instance, spending a lot of time with the local shogi master will make you a better strategist, as your character can learn abilities like live party swapping in battles, or quickly escaping from a fight. It's a lot of fun to make sure you can keep really close to some of your favorite characters. There's even a system to date some of the women available in the game, also giving you access to special combat combos between these two characters. I think you can romance more than one character at a time, but I'd be careful with that, because if you're not careful, they will find out that you're dating other people. I don't think it'll ruin your relationship with any of them, but I personally haven't done it, so I don't know too much information about that. Just be smart, don't be that guy trying to date everybody in the game. It's kind of fun for the first couple of minutes, but if you fuck up, you fuck up bad. This game sounds really convoluted, but it luckily introduces you to one thing at a time to get you comfortable with everything, and before you know it, you'll be a master. Persona 5 is a critical success, and I say it is because there are people that still say it's one of their favorite games of the past 5 years. It's definitely one of mine, and one of the only games I've played more than once. In April of 2012, Atlus Games released a sort of director's cut of the game called Persona 5 Royal. The differences in this game are some minor gameplay tweaks, 2 additional confidants, and an entirely new extra palace that can be completed after beating the main game. If you have interest in Persona 5, I'll highly suggest that you get the base game for the vanilla experience at first, as I think that Persona 5 will get you the best value. On the PlayStation Store, Persona 5 R is a fully priced game, whereas Persona 5 is a PlayStation hit and is locked at $20 max, getting you the most bang for your buck. Now for the big guns, my best approximations as to why you might not be playing this game already, and I'll argue why I think that's not a great excuse. Do I need to play the other Persona games to understand this one? No. It looks too anime, I don't know if I get the art style. Yeah, it's an anime-style game, but the artwork is also gorgeous. I love the cel-shaded art style that makes it look like it's a comic book. I love the red accents on everything. When was the last time you looked at a video game pause menu and thought of it as an art piece? So much care went into the visuals of this game, and I think it paid off wonderfully. So I think you should give it a shot. I don't have a PlayStation, I only have PC. That's fine. Consoles can be overrated anyways compared to the power of a desktop computer. Recently, Atlus ported the previous Persona game, Persona 4 Golden, to PC via Steam. When Atlus realized how much money it made and how quickly it got done, I hope the CEO's brain started spinning to find out how they can get more and how they could get Persona 5 released for PC. There's a lot going on in the game of what you said. It sounds like it's going to be a long game. You're absolutely right. It is a long game. And not like a long game, like a very, 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 very long game. When I played through it the first time, just to get to the end credits, I had a playtime of 120 hours. When I played Persona 5 R, I skipped all the cutscenes and I still logged 87 hours. This isn't for the faint of heart. This is for the people that are really looking for a game that's going to hold them over for the long haul. I also think that this is 100% worth sinking that much time into because you care about the characters. You want to learn more about them. You want to keep exploring the world. Persona 5 is currently available for PS4 and will be available as a free game to stream as a PlayStation Plus subscriber on PlayStation 5. Persona 5 is a big game. It's packed to the brim with so much different things that you can do, so much to see, so much story to tell and understand, as well as find an entire world of possibilities and different stories and things that help you get through. This game will reward you for adventuring as much as it will punish you for dilly-dallying and wasting time. This game might not be for everyone, and that's totally fine, but I hope that this video has at least encouraged someone to look into it a bit more, and then I feel like I would have done my job. But what do you think? Are you going to invest some of your time into this game? Leave a comment to let me know what you think, or even give me something to review next. Leave a like on the video and subscribe to keep updated on when I upload my next one. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter right here, and that can keep you updated with when I upload my next video, as well as a couple of memes here and there. With that being said, thank you for watching the video and sticking around to the end, and I'll catch you on the next one, whenever that'll be.